The text message arrived just as the snow began to fall, soft and silent outside the cafe window. I'm really sorry. You're nice, but I didn't feel the spark. I'm going to head out. Emma stared at her phone, the words blurring as the holiday lights reflected in her eyes. Across the table sat 2 untouched cups of hot chocolate, steam curling upward like questions she didn't know how to answer. It was Christmas Eve, and once again she was alone, rejected before the night had even begun. Emma forced a smile at the waitress, paid the bill, and pulled her coat tighter around herself as she stepped back into the cold. She told herself she was used to this, 34 years old. A steady job as a pediatric nurse, a heart full of love with nowhere to put it. Blind dates had become a ritual of polite disappointment, but something about tonight hurt more. Maybe it was the carols drifting from nearby stores, or the way families hurried past her, hands full of gifts and laughter. Or maybe it was the quiet voice inside her that whispered, "You weren't chosen again." She walked without direction, letting the city lights guide her. Snow crunched beneath her boots as she passed a small church where candles glowed warmly through stained glass windows. For a moment she considered stepping inside, just to sit, to breathe, but before she could decide, a sharp cry cut through the air. "Daddy! Daddy!" Emma turned and saw a man struggling with grocery bags, his face pale and strained. Beside him stood 2 little girls, identical in every way, matching red coats, matching curls peeking out from knitted hats, matching wide eyes filled with fear. The man swayed, then dropped to his knees, the bags spilling across the sidewalk. Without thinking, Emma rushed forward. Years of nursing instinct took over. She knelt, spoke calmly, checked his pulse. "I'm Emma." "You're going to be okay," she said, even though her heart was pounding. Someone nearby called an ambulance while Emma kept the girls close, wrapping her arms around them as they shook. At the hospital, Emma stayed long after the doctors said she could go. The man, Daniel, had suffered severe exhaustion and dehydration. A widower, they explained quietly. Single father, no nearby family. The girls clung to Emma as if she were something solid in a world that suddenly felt fragile. "Are you an angel?" one of them whispered, her voice trembling. Emma smiled gently. "No, sweetheart. Just someone who didn't have anywhere else to be tonight." When Daniel woke later that evening, he found Emma sitting nearby, reading a picture book to his daughters. Gratitude filled his tired eyes. "I don't know how to thank you," he said hoarsely. "You already did," Emma replied. "You're their dad." Snow continued to fall as Christmas morning approached. The hospital staff brought cocoa, and someone placed a small artificial tree in the corner of the room. Emma meant to leave once Daniel was stable, but each time she stood, one of the girls grabbed her hand. "Please don't go," the other said softly. "We already lost our mommy." The words pierced her heart. Emma knelt so she was eye level with them. "I'm not your mommy," she said gently, choosing honesty over comfort. "But I care about you." The twins looked at each other, then back at her with a seriousness far beyond their years. "Will you be our mom?" one asked. The world seemed to stop. Emma felt the question echo inside her, touching every quiet prayer she had ever whispered. She looked at Daniel, whose eyes filled with tears, not from expectation, but from fear of hoping too much. Emma swallowed hard. "I can't answer that right now," she said softly, "but I promise this. I won't disappear." In the weeks that followed, Emma kept that promise. She visited often, helped with homework, cooked meals, laughed with the girls as they built snowmen, and watched old Christmas movies long after the decorations came down. What began as kindness slowly grew into something deeper, steadier, and real. Daniel healed, but so did Emma. She found herself belonging in ways she never had before. Not because she was chosen on a blind date, but because she chose to show up again and again. One quiet evening in spring, as the twins slept and the house hummed with peace, Daniel spoke the words Emma hadn't realized she was waiting to hear. "You didn't just save my life that night," he said. "You gave my girls hope. You gave all of us a future." Tears slid down Emma's cheeks as she realized the truth. Sometimes rejection is not an ending, but a redirection. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with sparks and perfection, but with snow, a crisis, and 2 small voices asking the bravest question of all. That Christmas, Emma wasn't chosen, but she was needed. And in answering that need, she found the family she had been waiting for all along.